Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. Today's video, we're continuing my series of ranking every Disney animation movie. This time we're getting to the top 40. We're getting number 40 through number 36. Now I would say 40 through 37 are like 2.5 star movies, so that's like not light not recommends. I mean, they're not quite good enough for me to say, you know, these are good movies that you should see. So they're kind of just below where I'm like, not quite good enough. And then number 36 is where I'm starting to go, okay, this is a recommendable movie. This is a good Disney movie. So that's where we're getting. So we're finally going from movies I don't like to movies I'm starting to like anyway. So, but yeah, we'll see what that is here on Jason the Old Millennial. Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing well here on a Monday. I guess today's Columbus Day or something like that. I didn't realize it until I heard someone say something, and I was like, oh, I didn't realize today's like a holiday. I just didn't pay attention to any of that, to my calendar or anything. But yeah, so happy Columbus Day or Indigenous Day or something. I think I heard someone say that too. Whatever day you want to say it is. If you're not going to work, that'd be a nice day. Or I don't know if people don't go to work on this day. I'm guessing the post office isn't doing anything. That's all I can say. No government work anyways. But yeah, so getting to that, we're going to talk about some more Disney animation movies. In fact, tonight I'm going to be on, I don't know if it's Nick's channel or Jacob Martin's channel. We're going to talk about the Silver Age of Disney movie, actually. So we're going to have more Disney talk later tonight on another channel. But yeah, I'm still getting through my list. We're going to do 40 through 36 here. So let's start with number 40. Number 40 is Ralph Breaks the Internet. So this is the sequel to Wreck-It Ralph. A somewhat anticipated one because I'm a big fan of the first one. You'll see that movie much higher on my list. Wreck-It Ralph I love. So yeah, I really was excited to get another Wreck-It Ralph movie when this came out, you know. And yeah, I'm a bit disappointed. It was a bit of a disappointment. And even rewatching it again, I'm just really uninterested in the story, kind of bored with it overall. Not really that great of a villain or exciting or climatic ending or anything like that. In this movie, we see Ralph and Penelope. There's the steering wheel breaks off of the racing game, and so they're going to shut that game down, so they need to get a new steering wheel. So they have to go to the internet to find, like on eBay, like a new steering wheel to buy for, of course, they don't understand the concept of money. So then they have to raise up money to try to get the steering wheel. Kind of the whole idea behind it. But a lot of the movie is them in the world of the internet, whatever. And so that's what they spend most of their times. And then Penelope gets into this racing game, this like really dangerous racing game, different than her racing game. And she kind of wants to leave her game and, you know, join this other game. But Ralph doesn't want her to because then they won't be together or something like that, and he's jealous or whatever. That's kind of the way it is. But yeah, like I said, love the arc of the Ralph character in the first movie. This movie, not so much. The thing I do like about the movie is the concept of the whole internet idea and what it would look like, you know, to go into the internet. I thought they had some creative ideas there, like especially when they had like you know, there's the, you know, I don't know what they call it, the YouTube place and the Facebook place and the Google place. And those places are huge because those are very, you know, or apps. I guess I don't know if those are apps or whatever, but those are obviously huge, you know, social media domains or whatever. And so they're like big towns, you know, that you can go to visit, you know. So depending on how big your app is, it's how big that your space is. Anyway, I thought that was a neat idea. And yeah, and there's stuff like having to ask, you know, information, and the person tries to guess it before you get to it, because that's what you do when you go on, you know, like Google or something like that. They try to guess what you're going to say before you even finish. stuff like that is fun. There's some good stuff, and all the ads, you get so many ads, on this stuff, and so people come up with ads all the time. Yeah, so some good stuff there. Um, like I said, the overall story plot, I don't know, I was not into nearly as much. Penelope and the whole thing revolves around this new dangerous racing game that Penelope is like in love with and wants to get part of. Like, I don't know, I didn't care about those characters or the whole plot of her wanting to leave her game and get into this other game. And then Ralph is jealous, and a lot of it's like Ralph is like the villain. I mean, spoilers were for the movie, but not really the villain, but he kind of becomes somewhat of a villain in the movie, and or kind of sparks the villain at the end, which is, I don't know, it was weird, and it wasn't as good of a villain as the first movie, I would say. We do get Fix It Felix, and I forget the girl that they get married, and she's like, this girl in like this alien shooting game. I do like those two characters. They do have kind of a side thing where they have to adopt the other kids that are in the candy whatever racing game, and and he thinks, oh, parenting's got to be easy. That's funny, And then you realize, no, kids are terrible and they're hard to deal with. And he's stressing over that, and he goes to like the root beer place to drink root beer because they don't have beer, but he's drinking like root beer, and he's acting like he's out at the bar drinking anyways because of all the stresses of having kids. Yeah, some of that stuff's pretty good. I don't know. Overall, yeah, just not a big fan of the whole storyline, I guess, and arc of the characters. I don't know. It didn't interest me as much. I will say the best scene in the movie, and one of the funniest scenes ever, though, is Penelope meeting the other Disney princesses. That was awesome to see all the Disney princesses from Snow White and Cinderella to Jasmine, all of the classic princesses getting together. Very funny scene of like the different personalities and how a lot of them don't have parents. That seems to be a big trope of princesses. Anyway, so yeah, that was a really hilarious scene. Definitely the best scene in the movie. But yeah, overall, yeah, it's a 2.5-star movie. It's not quite there for me to say it's one I'd go back to. So it's at number 40, Ralph Breaks the Internet. Number 39 is Wish, which is the newest, that just came out like a year ago, I think. It's the newest Disney animation movie that came out, and it's supposed to be like their, what was it, the 100th anniversary movie? Because they just did a bunch of stuff for the 100th anniversary of Disney animation, I guess. And so this is like, it's supposed to be like, oh, let's come out with a big movie for our 100th anniversary. And unfortunately, it didn't really get there with this one. And I think it did pretty bad at the box office and was a bit of a dud movie, unfortunately. But yeah, for me, yeah, it wasn't, again, excuse me, wasn't a horrible movie. It wasn't great either. Again, it's barely, just not recommendable. Animation was really good. It was a little different style of animation, I thought. It had kind of a bit of a mixture. Now they're doing a lot of these mixtures of 2D and 3D animation, kind of interesting combination that they're doing now in animation. And so animation-wise, pretty good. The whole storyline, it's okay. I even like, and it says songs are okay. I can't say I remember any of the songs necessarily, but I remember thinking, yeah, it was the songs are decent and they're well sung. The thing that gets me is the villain, who's this sorceress, who also is like runs the town like a dictator, I guess. And he has this magical ability to grant wishes, but he won't grant everybody's wish. He only grants certain people wishes, depending if he thinks they're good wishes, I guess. And it's like he's not overall like it's not a bad idea. Like, yeah, you don't want to give everybody a wish, or you have chaos. So you have to kind of pick and choose who gets their wishes. And so it was a little weird that she was like so upset that, oh my gosh, you're not going to grant my dad's wish or whatever, I think it was. You're a terrible person, because you won't grant. And it's like, okay, now I kind of get his point of view. Like, who knows if you want to, and he even explains like why he doesn't want to grant his wish. And he kind of comes up with a real thought out, reason. So he wasn't really exactly that villainous of a character until after that happens. And all of a sudden he does turn into a villain. I mean, at first he's really not a villain. And then all of a sudden so it seemed weird that he all of a sudden became a villain. Didn't seem like he needed to be, but then also, but of course, he needed a villain. It's a Disney movie. You gotta have someone be the villain. But for him to be like, all of a sudden, like he gets into this dark. I think he starts reading this dark magic book that he says you shouldn't read because it's dark magic and turn evil. But he decides to get into it, and then he turns evil. And then he is a villain because he does do villainous things after that point. But I don't know. So to me, I'm not crazy about the whole twist of that that sorceress character, the wizard character, whatever, becoming evil. I think it was a bit much. I mean, a bit abrupt. The other thing is, like, I don't know, there's just no other great characters. The main character is fine, and she has like her friend characters that come in and out of the movie, if I remember right. And they have their own quirks, I suppose, but I don't know if they developed those characters well enough. And then I think the thing is, like, there's a star that comes out of nowhere, and I can't remember exactly why. There's this shooting star thing, and it's supposed to be kind of a side character, but it doesn't talk, I don't think, or, it's just this cute little star character. But then it makes animals talk and inanimate objects to talk. It has that power. So then she has like a pet or something. I want to say like a donkey or something. I can't remember. That starts talking, but it's never funny. Like, I think, oh, okay, this is the funny sidekick character. I always think Disney animation, in my opinion, you need a funny side character. That's what makes, great Disney animation to me. And so I was like, all right, we need a good comic side character that has a lot of funny lines, funny character, whatever traits. But it wasn't that way. None of the side characters were that funny. The whole movie's not that funny. Like, I think it's missing the comedy element. I said the music was okay, but not great enough to really push it. And then the plot was not great either at times. And yeah, so overall, again, here at number 39, it's again another 2.5-star movie, in my opinion. Not as terrible, I think, as other people are saying, but not great still. Number 38 might be a surprise because I feel like a lot of people really like this movie, and I'm just kind of just not really crazy about it. And that is The Princess and the Frog. Which Princess and the Frog was like kind of a cool idea, I guess, that it was the first like 2D animated movie that Disney has done because for a long time, because they went away from 2D animation and were doing the computer animated whatever. Because that's what everybody else was doing. Pixar and DreamWorks was doing that, and that's what everybody does now because that's the technology today. So it was kind of this cool thing of like, oh, we're going to do another 2D animated movie, something different we hadn't seen in a while. And so that's kind of the big draw of the movie. And it's another, of course, princess movie. It's got a cool setting, New Orleans, it's something we hadn't seen before. And we have a black princess, which we've never had a black princess before. So that was a good, kind of a change of that we hadn't seen. And Tatiana, I think her name was Tatiana, and she was a good character, very nice, wants to raise money, want to own her own restaurant, I believe. And something happens to her dad, I think, and as it always does with these princesses. And the whole movie is, there's this guy who's a prince, and there's this villain, this voodoo guy, because you're in New Orleans, so there's a lot of this black magic voodoo stuff down there. So the villain was actually pretty scary. I mean, probably one of the more scarier villains we've seen in Disney. So he was pretty good, maybe a little too scary at times. But anyway, so he curses the prince, and he turns into a frog, and then she kisses him thinking that he'll turn back to human, but then it turns her into a frog, so now they're both frogs. So now they both got to figure out how to get back to human form. I don't know why I didn't care. I always have a problem with these movies when people turn into animals. I'm not a big fan of it. I don't know why. It just, for the most part, there are some that I like. So I can't say all of them, but maybe just because I feel like we do it too many times, and so every time it's like, oh no, somebody turned into a talking animal now. I say that I do like The Emperor's New Groove, and I do like Brother Bear. So maybe I'm totally off saying that, but I don't know. Yeah, anyway, so the overall plot, like, I'm like, don't care about these two characters turning into frogs now. They got to figure out how to get back. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just not totally in love with these characters, I guess, in the plot. I don't know, because every time I've seen it a couple times, and both times I've been like, I'm just not feeling it. I don't know. And a lot of it's because of music. I'm not a big fan of the music because it's like this jazz, because it's New Orleans. So they're like, we're going to do a bunch of jazz music, I think, because that's what's big in New Orleans. And I'm not a fan of jazz. So I'm like, I couldn't really tell you any of the music because it left me as soon as I saw it, because I didn't like any of the music because it was jazzy numbers. So I think I hurts it a lot that I wasn't into any of the music numbers, which really help if you're doing a musical, if I'm into the music. So for me, that hurt. Just like I didn't like the music. I wasn't really into the character or the plot that much, I guess. Villain's pretty good. I mean, side character wise, like the alligator's, decent character. Not one of the all-time greats, but he's kind of funny at times. He wants to play jazz, but of course he's an alligator, so nobody wants to be around an alligator playing the trumpet. So it's kind of a fun idea. And there's this lightning bug with this really funny accent, New Orleans, really like Louisiana, what do you call it, Cajun accent. Some of that's kind of funny, but I don't know, wasn't enough laughs there, I guess, for me. Not good enough music. I wasn't into the plot as much to make me really into the movie to give it a really good score. Again, I'd give 2.5 stars. It's almost there, but not quite there. It's not a movie I totally recommend and go, yeah, I want to get this movie or see it again. So after Princess and the Frog at number 38. Number 37, we have Big Hero 6. Yeah, this was kind of an interesting movie. It was kind of a combination of I think it might have been based off of a comic book or something, because it's kind of a superhero style movie done in a futuristic place. Anyways, and about this kid who's a genius inventor, and then something tragic happens, but he's left with a character called Baymax, who was invented to help people. And then he gets into this group, this genius like college group that invents things, and then he's trying to investigate what happened to like his brother, and all that. Anyway, so that's kind of what the movie revolves around. Like animation wise, really good. There's some cool ideas here. It's futuristic and all that. And I would say like the other characters I like the friends that he makes at this college, whatever, like they all have their nice quirks to them. I thought that was done really well. Also, there's the one guy who doesn't have any, he's just rich, and he dresses like the mascot, and that's his whole powers, that he gets this costume that he uses and he breathes fire or something. Really funny character as well. But yeah, I like all the side characters that are with him. Like, there's a lot of good stuff there, I guess. Again, I don't know why. And Baymax is a good character. I do like Baymax. He's the best character. I love the bumping, whatever he does. Like, oh, I believe that was funny. We all laughed in the theater. I remember I was a big hit in the theater, and it made me want to do that every time I went. Yeah, so there's some funny stuff there. I don't know why and when he found out who the bad guy is, I remember being like, oh, really? That's the bad. I didn't like the twist on who the villain was. I remember being kind of disappointed with that. And even the main character Hero, he goes into dark places because he's wants to get revenge, and he like wants to kill this person. So man, it does get pretty dark, but I don't know. I'm just not, again, this is a movie that's like, it's not quite there. It's a 2.5 star movie. I don't know. I just get bored with it for some reason. It just doesn't, the overall plot doesn't, I guess, get me interested as much. The action's okay. There's some good action scenes, I guess, here. Main character, I guess, I'm not really invested in. Like I said, Baymax, I like a lot more. He's got some more funnier moments. Like when his batteries, need to be recharged. He acts drunk because he's like, oh, he's losing power. And so then he just slurs his words and he stumbles. And that was a funny idea as well. But here, I have some positives here. But yeah, I'm still saying, it's not quite there for me as a whole movie for whatever reason. I don't know, just not enough laughs there. I get bored with the plot or something. I don't know. It's just not there for me. So it's here at number 37, Big Hero 6. I wish I could put up higher, but just, again, it's fine. All these movies, they have good parts to them, just not quite there for me. I don't know why. All right, now number 36, our last movie I'm going to talk about. I am giving it 3 stars, so I'm giving it a light recommend. So this is the first one I'm like, yeah, I actually quite enjoyed this movie, and I would watch it again. And that's Lilo and Stitch at number 36. Which is an interesting movie because I didn't catch it when it came out in movie theaters. I don't think I saw it until much later. I somehow caught it on streaming, or probably streaming or something. I caught it on later on. And I mean, I remember the movie coming out was a big deal. And I think they even had a TV show and some sequels on direct-to-video sequels or something. Of course, it definitely seems old school now. You look back at it because it's 2D anime. It feels like it's towards the end of the 2D animation before we start getting to the computer animated type. So it feels like the last of of an era in some senses. I would say the overall animation I think is pretty bad. That's one of the biggest criticism. Like the human characters just don't look quite right. Like the way they animated them, something about the different body parts just don't seem to, I don't know, match or something. Like some parts are just bigger than they should be and or smaller. I don't know. It's just weird. Something about the bodies of the humans. Just the aliens are fine because they're aliens. You can do whatever you want. But when it comes to human beings, I don't know. It's just like their arms or something just don't look. I don't know. There's something in there. I always look at it and go, it just doesn't seem like they quite knew how to do human beings in animation for whatever reason in these movies, and they've done another movie, so I don't know why this movie didn't work out for me, but that was a big thing for me when I watched it, and I go, something's just off on the animation for me overall. And to be honest, for the first part of this movie, I'm not that interested in it. It's all this aliens. Stitch is supposed to be this very dangerous alien who comes to Earth, and then all these other aliens are looking for him. And so he hides out with Lilo, who lives with her older sister, and she's fighting, custody. The government's going to take her away from her, so she's wants to keep her in custody of her sister because they don't have any parents, of course. Like I said, it always happens. You never have parents in these movies. Yeah, and so Lilo acts like, I think, a dog or something like that. So she thinks that she picked it up as a dog or something. And Stitch is, has some, evil plan. But then, of course, they bond. Lilo, and the whole thing is Lilo and Stitch bond. And Stitch, learns things like Elvis and does Elvis impersonations and all this stuff, and kind of starts, I guess, liking humanity and becomes a good, obviously, it's a pretty good arc for that character. Goes from kind of evil character to actually a really good character, and becomes good at the end and protects the family and against some other aliens and all that. So I like all that. Like I said, when I first watched this, anytime I'm watching this movie, on first half I'm just like, I'm not really into it. I don't know. Second half of the movie, I'm really enjoying it. I really like the last part of this movie. There's a good action sequence between these aliens that are coming to Earth, whatever, and Stitch decides to fight it back, and there's some good stuff there. And what really wins me over in the movie is just Stitch is a great character. I love Stitch. It's a very funny character, very kind of cute, kind of alien, funny, antics. Doesn't talk, so has to do other things to communicate. And like I said, I think there's a part where he dresses up like Elvis and does Elvis moves and stuff. So yeah, great character. That really what won me over. That's why I'm like, it's like barely a 3-star. It's just on the cusp of a 2.5 to 3, but I'm putting in the 3-star just because I love Stitch so much, and I think really saves the movie. And I think the last part is really good, and that really helps the movie at the end. When you have, again, you can fix a movie with a good ending sometimes. If you can give me a really great ending that makes me care, and makes me interested, and I leave very satisfied and happy with the ending, I can sometimes get turned over, and that's what happens in this movie for me. So that's why I got Lilo and Stitch here at number 36. So yeah, it's my 40 to 36 on my list. Feel free to comment. What do you think about these movies? Where would you put them? Love to read your comments. Appreciate it. Besides that, thank you for watching this video. Thank you for liking it. Thank you to all my subscribers for supporting the channel. I appreciate you all. Hope you have a good day.